Now, I am old, but I'm not quite yet in the elderly bracket. That will come soon enough. What I would like to say about people pleasers in recovery and the elderly is that certain members of the elderly are very canny. They're very wise, wise about their own self survival. And they're realizing that it's a big ask to look after themselves. So if a people pleaser comes into their vortex, it's like spider to fly, spider to fly. And unbeknownst to you, the people pleaser, you have been you have been swung. What does a spider do? Spin. You have been spun. That's the word I'm looking for. Spun. You've been spun into the spider's web. And it's very difficult to get out because you will know as a people pleaser that you have a conscience. And like takers, givers were born with a conscience. And the elderly person that you have been spun into their web, very difficult, isn't it? Because you think, well, God, if I don't keep pleasing this elderly person, they're going to die, and I'll have that on my conscience. It's insidious, isn't it? Having a conscience can be a burden. So I mentioned in last week's video about how narcissists and browbeaters can sort of waylay you on your journey of recovery, and the elderly can be narcissists and browbeaters. And I mentioned that I had a neighbour. Now, I got to know this neighbour when he was in his mid-70s, and it was in his mid-80s. So I knew him for about 10 years. And it was only in the last 6 months to a year, that I realized, the penny dropped, and I realized that I was dealing with a narcissist. I knew that he was a browbeater because when I went round for a cup of tea, it was always him and it was always his topic. Self-obsessed to such an extent that if I offered a response, it was almost like a put down. Anyway, back to what I was saying. And I mean, he was interesting. And this is what happens with narcissists. They will spin a web of lies and intrigue from a very early period in your friendship, in your relationship. And you won't be aware, you won't know what's going on because you're sort of, dare I use the ancient word, you're a little bit simple. You're a little bit sad and simple as a people pleaser because you've got a new friend. Somebody's going to listen to you and talk to you, but they don't listen to you. They might as well be talking to themselves. And I learned a lot about this narcissistic browbeater, but he learnt an awful lot about me. And he used that information to his own ends. No names, no patrial. Anybody who knows me in real life will know who I am referring to. So it was quite a long friendship. But I realized too late that I had wasted an awful lot of time being a people pleaser to this neighbour, running errands, because he had me feeling sorry for him. And this is what the elderly will do. The elderly will make you feel sorry for them, and the people pleasing then takes on a different, it's almost like a duty of care. And before you know it, you're unable to say no. The phone will ring, or they'll get in touch with you. Oh, could you just do this? Could you just do that? And it's a nightmare. And it's a very cruel thing to say, but it's not surprising in a way that so many elderly people are lonely, because younger people are scared of getting drawn in to doing things, because you do something for somebody once and they might expect it again. So it is insidious. It's a human problem, and I feel a little bit guilty for saying that in this video, but the truth will out. So how do people pleasers in recovery get over this problem of being with the elderly? Because we will be the elderly one day. But I would hope that people pleasers in recovery, when they get to the elderly stage, that they will have good grace. They will have better manners than to prey like a spider on a fly to somebody younger and kinder and softer than them. Because very often in reality, they would not have done that when they were younger. That's all for this week's People Pleaser in Recovery video. Fly to Spider. Over and out.